Hey everyone, my name is Essa and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to give you a brief overview of how I designed and created this Koenigsegg Regara poster illustration. To do something like this, you are going to need both Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop. If that sounds interesting, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel with notifications on. Okay, let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to do is find a reference image. For cars, I like to use a website called netcarshow.com. It will be the first link on Google. On this website, you'll be able to find high quality pictures of any car. So as you can see, it comes up with a list of car manufacturers, and I'm going to go ahead and select Ferrari, and then you'll see it comes up with a list of every single Ferrari model. This goes back all the way to the classics and the news. You can hover over each one to see a preview. I'm going to go ahead and pick the LaFerrari, and as you can see at the top, it shows you a bunch of photos that you can save and use. So you simply click onto one of these. I'm going to click onto this one of it, the Ferrari on the track. You can use the arrow keys to go through them. I actually quite like this one since it's all the Ferrari models. So I'm going to go ahead and right click and then press open image in new tab. Then right click again and save image as, and I'm going to save that to my desktop. Now you're going to want to go ahead and open up Illustrator and drag your reference image in. So this is the reference image I used for the Koenigsegg. And the first thing you're going to want to do is zoom out with Ctrl- and then rename your layer group to the reference image. You want to keep your layer groups organized so that you don't get confused and can keep things separate. You're going to want to create a new layer group and call that outlines. I'm going to change the color of the layer group to a magenta since it's contrasting and will be easy to see. You then want to lock your reference image since you don't want that to move around, and you're going to select the pen tool. Now the pen tool is what you're going to use when illustrating since it's very flexible. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in and pick a part of the car. I'm going to start here with the bottom skirt. I'm going to change my fill to nothing and give myself a 1 pixel stroke. And then I'm going to start. Now with the pen tool, you click to create a point and you click and drag to create a curve. So as you can see, I'm creating some points here along the bottom. And you're going to do this around the entire car. Now this is quite a long process, but the more detail you put in, the better it will look in the end. When it comes to doing round corners like this little splitter part here, you can hold and drag and then use the handles to create the perfect curve using the direct selection tool, which is the second tool in the toolbar. This lets you move around points and adjust curves. Pretty much this is how you start your illustration, and you're just going to repeat this until you're ready to go. So I'm just going to speed this part of the video up and you'll see how my final product looks. After quite a lot of work, this is what my outlines look like at the end. I put a lot of detail into mine. Now I'm going to go ahead and open up Photoshop, drag my outlines of the car in, and begin with colouring my illustration. This is as simple as just using the paint tool, so I'm just going to remove the white background, select the paint can, pick a nice red, and then simply click onto the sections of my car. And it's as simple as this. Make sure you use different tones of the same colour so you can give yourself some simple shadows and highlights. This is what the final looks like after I finished filling it in. Now it's time to add a carbon fiber pattern to the hood, since I don't want that to just be a plain black color. I downloaded a pattern from online and created the shape of the hood and then simply placed that in with a pattern overlay. The next thing you're going to want to do is create your highlights and shadows. You can do this by using an exposure adjustment. With an exposure adjustment, you want to create two, one for shadows and one for highlights. The shadows will be negative exposure and the highlights will be positive exposure. And now you're just going to go ahead and repeat this. So this is what my car looks like after I've finished a lot of highlights and shadows. This took me quite a while. As you can see, the highlights and shadows makes a big difference in making your car look more realistic. The next thing I'm going to do is add a camera raw filter. This will make the illustration stand out more. I simply increase the vibrance, turn down the saturation. I'm now going to do these same techniques for my Dubai skyline illustration by using the different color tones. And this is what my Dubai skyline looks like after I've finished filling it in. I applied a hue and saturation just to tone down the colors since I chose quite vibrant colors. And then I also applied some highlights and shadows with the same technique using exposure adjustments, and this is what it looks like at the end. Now for the final composition, I just added a bunch of layers. This took me quite a while. This will change depending on the project you're working on. So after all of that, this is the final outcome. There was actually quite a few drafts before this final layout, so it actually took me about 26 hours to complete this entire project. I know this wasn't the best of guides since I didn't go that much into detail with everything I did, and that's because there was quite a lot, so this would have been a very long video. But if you guys like this type of video, then I'll definitely make more in the future in more detail. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications on and hit that like button. And I'll see you all next time.